That's what we call a V-shaped recovery. Okay, so what you've got is you've got one time framing all the way down, and then you've got the equal and opposite in the opposite direction. Okay, that's quite a bullish reversal that in the DAX. So again, note, I'm not necessarily saying it's a buy or that I'm bullish. I'm just turning from being, sort of overly bearish to a little more neutral now. Okay, that's quite a strong reversal, but this is really good auctioning, guys. This auction we've seen off that low in the DAX now makes me very excited for when we do go back there. Okay, I'm really interested now in when the DAX gets back below there. If we get back below there sometime this afternoon, I'll be more aggressive through that low simply because of that auction process I've seen off the low. Okay. Yes, a lot of you are going to look at this now and say there's a potential for an inverse head and shoulders, which is correct. Okay, so we've picked up on something at the same time. Note, we've been playing a little bit of a breakout strategy all morning, and we've just now identified a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders in the short-term time frame. Let's let it form that right shoulder, and then we can get involved in that DAX, try and play for a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders play. So we'll keep an eye on that, bring that across if it does come into play in a few minutes' time.
Now on entry, the employers group Confidustrial revised this year's growth forecast up to 1.3%.
That's no problem, Angela. Thanks for the comment.
Also by a 10.1 versus 1%.
Yeah. Feel free, guys. We've got another 10 minutes here, so feel free to ask those questions. I'm just going to keep clicking away and talking anyway, so you just ask those questions, and I'll just get on with the job of it and kind of just navigate you through what I'm trying to do ultimately. Okay, so nice strong bit up in that DAX. Okay, what we're going to try and do now is we're going to try something a little bit cheeky here. Okay, we can see if we go back to that DAX, if you come back to when we were up here around about 9:15. Right, in this little area here, we can see that on the ladder, but you can also see it on a footprint. There's quite a bit of absorption here. Okay, so there's quite a big seller that stepped in just to hold the market up around that 53.54. So that's a pretty important area now for the market. You know, the shorts need to hold on to that 50 to 54s. If that goes, you could see a little bit of a short-term run up to the upside. So we're aware of that. You know, if we did get a DAX ladder up, if we just come up to the charts very briefly, I can show you what those stops will look like. Okay, so we can see the delta on the day, and this is where a cumulative delta can be a little bit misleading in a sense, is that it's not necessarily always a delta that indicates positioning, but maybe more positioning where, you know, the market's maybe held key areas. You've seen an interaction between buyers and sellers. So what we can see if we came back into this area was, you know, around that 50s. If I just put nice two red lines there, we can see that this morning, you know, early on the market was kind of defending that area. You can see 8 o'clock we defended that area. We then defended it again when the cash first came in, and we kept defending that area. Once it took it, notice where the market came back to. Okay, so it used the support and turned it and flipped it into resistance. Okay, now in a distribution day, these can be particularly good stop out areas. So what we're going to do now is we're going to keep a close eye on the exact price, 55.5s. That's where we're going to just pay attention in the event that we do come bid up. If we take that out, you know, we're probably going to see quite a fast little money move back up towards the 70s. So, you know, this is all playing out for a little inverse head and shoulders, which is starting to look good now. I'm going to draw in the neckline for you guys. So yeah, you can come back onto the ladders. Thanks, Paul and Johnny. So we're back onto the ladders now. And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this euro position, and we're going to zoom in on the DAX again now. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up to, yeah. Okay, so you should all be able to see that now, nice and front and center. I don't want to cover too many of my ladders. But you can see the very nice example of a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders. Now note, an inverse head and shoulders, yes, it's a pattern, okay, but it's more the price response that's important, okay. We can see that we had a dip down on the cash, and a little bit of a slow rebound. We then had a second attempt, and the head was created with a V reversal, which is a very, very, very strong price action. Okay, if you saw that on the ladder, very aggressive reversal. Right, so we're going to use that information. Right, we've almost paid for that information. Remember, we got short there looking for an extension. Didn't make any money. Took a small loss. So now we're going to use that information that we extracted, and we're going to take advantage of it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we can see our neckline is going to come in and around that sort of 50.5 area, where it's just about where we stopped the last time. So what we're going to do is, once we get above that 50.5, if we see some absorption, we see some buy side on the bid, we're then going to look to buy it. Remember, our target Okay, now traditionally a lot of people say, yes, okay, the target is 26 minus the headline is 30 ticks to the upside. That's awesome. Okay, really, that's cool. If it gets there, that's brilliant. For me, I've identified a key little spot up at 70s, so I'm going to put that in straight away, and we're going to effectively target that 12570 area. Okay. So inverse shoulders, inverse head and shoulders is in play now. Let's actually play. Let's see what it does. Right, remember, note. Technical pattern's one thing, executing and making money is altogether another. So note, we want to see some absorption. We want to see get it above those 50.5s. Maybe see the seller. I want to actually see a seller there. I want to see a seller selling it, but a buyer holding it. That's the important thing for this little head and shoulders to work out. Okay, in the meantime, let's just cover some of that. Cancel it out. So above that 50.5s now, let's see that buying. We want to see that buying. We're not going to just blind to get in just because the chart says get in. Okay, that's a mug's game. Looking at the chart and just getting in, that's not what it's about. Okay, we need to see that buying. We want to see that selling and then reloading from the buyer, because that's going to give us our stop. The minute we can see that buyer, we can get in and we can put a stop in, and that's what's key to this.
Slight note for geopolitics. Got Russian wires quoting the Deputy Foreign Minister warned the US not to take unilateral actions in Syria.
Okay, so we can see a little bit of reloading here. So we're going to get in here now. We've got to stop here. Okay, notice. We saw the buying come in at this 47.5s. Let's see if he's still there. Okay, so we can see someone sold 47.5, 47.5. Let's see if that buyer is going to go a little more aggressively now. Okay, so we're still seeing the selling, and still seeing the selling. Okay, so no real reloading yet. No real reloading. Okay, and we're gone. Well, as simple as that, guys. That's all we were looking for. We didn't get the reloading. We didn't quite get the trade like we wanted, and guess what? The DAX is all the way down. What's the damage? A couple of ticks. Right, have we got it right? What are we looking for? We're looking for 30 ticks. Okay, that's what it's all about. It's about constantly navigating your way, finding little opportunities, and making sure you're executing them accordingly. So we're not going to give up on this yet altogether. We're going to keep an eye on this 50.5, see if we get another opportunity, add another bite at the carrot. So that's the important thing. Remember, just blindly hitting and assuming and preempting, that's not the game. Okay, preempting, is going to cost you a lot more money in the long run than not. So we don't want to preempt. What we're going to do now is we're going to try this again one more time. We want to see it get above those 51.5s, and we want to see if we can identify that buying. If we get that buying, we try it again. Nice tight stop. Again, still looking for that target of 70s. Alright, so if you guys have any questions, obviously we've got another couple of minutes. Let's shoot those questions away. I'll keep one eye on the questions and one eye on the DAX at the same time, and yeah, hopefully we can answer some of those questions. In which market, mate? 51.5s, 51.5s, yeah. Just little inverse head and shoulders. I think the fact that the stocks, it failed in the 34.90s, went bid up very quickly. It reminds me of that. Yeah, I just think we might get a run up to the upside in the equities now. But it's just the timing on this. I'm going to try and, yeah. I think if that DAX can get above those 51.5s and someone can just put a step on the bid there. The problem with the DAX is because it's a little bit thinner. You know, you could, someone can absorb it, but he'll absorb it over a few more prices. Whereas the Bund, the absorption tends to come over less prices. Okay. So really interesting if we look at this DAX, we can see some real good absorption, and we saw that 20 contracts into the 4s, reloads, instantly hits the other 20 on the offer. So someone who's accumulating here, we can see a little bit of a buy side program coming into the market. You know, again, another 12, so there is a buyer, he is holding the market. The question is, we don't want him to hold it, yeah. We need him to hold it at higher prices, okay? If he can hold it at higher prices, we can piggyback off him. You know, if he holds it at lower prices, he might get hit and get taken a little bit lower and then buy it lower, okay? That doesn't present in itself an opportunity. So yeah, we can see a buyer there, 44.5. He's absorbing and he's hitting, but he's a little bit too passive now. We need him to turn a little bit more aggressive, and then hopefully we can get stuck in. Okay, so again, watch the 44s, still 21 bid. We can see some really good absorption here. Again, 19 in front of him, so almost like not quite an iceberg order, but definitely a buy side order in the market at the moment. You know, just holding the market 44.5.
Oh, yeah, because...
Okay. So let's see what happens when he comes on to him again. Okay, so still a lot of reluctance. A lot of reluctance to actually hit the 22s. Okay, so let's keep an eye now. Coming back to those 51.5s, let's see what happens. And what we said now, that buyer, we want to see him holding it higher up. So let's see that first bit of selling. Let's see where that buyer enters. Remember our breakpoint is 51.5 there, so we're going to just see again. So we can see 15 lot come in, but this buyer's playing games. What was very interesting was how he took that through. Very unusual. You very rarely see a buyer go that aggressively through it. You kind of tend to see them take the levels, so take the 51s and then sort of shift up the bits, shift up the reloading, which makes me think that you might get a 52s or a 51s. Yeah, that's why I'm a bit reluctant to be hitting too high here, but it does look like I've missed a trick here and we're going to get those 70s, and just unfortunate there. You know, the reload buyer didn't quite come in where we wanted it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, this is the game. Let's adjust that to a 1. Okay. Alright, and job done there.